Up YouTube world, right? So we are just going to go do a quick walkthrough of all the tanks and see what is going on. And alright, so we're going to start with the saltwater tank. Saltwater tank is doing really good. The lionfish is getting bigger. Beautiful fish. And there's a hermit crab, and there is the chewed moray eel. I think he's hungry. Probably gotta feed him. But check it out what the chewed moray eel did. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the scape is a little bit different. And if you come over here, you see this rock right here? It is like almost an inch closer to the glass now, to the front piece. And as you can see, all this is kind of spread apart, and bam, look what he did. He completely cleared out the bottom. Managed to move the sand and wedge himself under the rock, and then he would like really get under it and move it, and eventually this rock fell. So I had to reposition it, and this coil right here was wedged between that rock and this rock. And as you can see, there's a big gap now, so that wouldn't work anymore. So I actually had to replace this rock, and there's kind of a hole up here, but it's okay because there's still a nice shadow in there, so it's still really dark. And I mean, he just did what he did. It's like, I do what I want. And but yeah, I went ahead and re-scaped it, put that big rock in the center, removed this piece of rock and kind of pushed it more in the back, and then I just pressed down and stuff and made sure it was really in. And I actually like it, you know, it's more flush now, like it comes up like this and around, so that looks really nice and neat. And I mean, it looks really good. I just hopefully he doesn't continue to wedge himself under this rock. And he's strong. I mean, he just moves it, you know, because this is one big piece, and he just picks it up so it moves forward, you know what I mean? And then all this is heavy, you know, but it's still basically the same thing. Alright, let's get to the next tank. Minnie's cat bowl. So there's the betta fish, and the male guppy was bugging him a little bit too much, you know, trying to mate or something. So I went ahead and got two females, a black one and a yellow one, or a red one. Yeah, red one and a black one, because that's the male. So now he bugs them too. Everything is doing really well. I actually ordered a whole lot of snails to help clean everything up, and that's actually more for the other tank. But I ordered 80 of them, so I was like, I just put them between different tanks, and yeah, so there's a lot of ram horn snails in there. It's pretty neat. I got 80 for like 23 bucks. I was like, cool. Shrimp tank got upgraded to a 20-gallon long, and I got real plant substrate in there, and the rest was that sand I had originally in the 10-gallon. I went ahead and put a smaller sponge filter in there. I swapped them. A little bit more room. It was really big. And yeah, a little bit of hair algae going on here, so I don't know. But we got some nyrite snails in there, and the salinity is at like 1.03, so it's very, very low. This is a quarantine tank. I'll tell you about that in a few. This is the puffer tank, and they're upset with me because I changed a few things around. They try to jump out. I was like, wow, guys. Anyways, I just made the tube longer. I got another extension so it actually reaches the bottom, and I had to move a couple things to the side, and yeah, they just weren't happy with me. This is an awesome piece right here. I got this from Petco, and I got it for free. It's actually like 50-60 bucks, and it's actually a little bit bigger. But what I ended up doing, because a customer returned it, I guess they didn't want it anymore, And I was like, what you guys doing with that? And they said, you can have it. I'm going to throw it away. I'm like, okay, I'll take it before you throw it away. So I got it, and it's pretty big, so I cut it in half. So it's like a 3D background. I put it against the back, and it has a tunnel. It actually goes through. And yeah, I guess we can't. Oh, there we go. So yeah, and it worked really well. Me cutting it in half, and it looks really nice. And these rocks actually look really nice with it. So yeah, so that's the puffers. They're okay. They're just mad at me. Their salinity is at 1.09, so it's up there. It's been up there for about a week, 2 weeks now at 0.9. About a little bit over 2 weeks actually. Slowly but surely trying to get up there in the saltwater range, but it's going to take a long time. All right, let's get to the next tank. There's a puffer story. Hey, you guys are okay. They're trying to get out. Hey, they're not happy with me. It is what it is. But that's an awesome piece right there, isn't it? Cut that thing right in half. I used the Dremel to do it. And I did a pretty good job because it's pretty flush. It's like a 3D background. Alright. Next tank. And then we have the cichled tank. Cichled tank is doing pretty good. Oh, don't get scared now. I'm sorry. And I think I got the hair algae pretty good under control. I went ahead and added a new plant. Zip tied it together so it wouldn't catch everything because it was like, so there's a zip tie in there. The other floaty plant I put behind the intake over there so they wouldn't get mixed up together. And as you saw in Minnie's cat bowl, all those snails, I went ahead and added also a whole lot of snails to this, and they just been munching away doing their job. And as you can see, there's an extra heater in here, and that's because I've been fighting this parasite. I'm thinking it's ick, like a super ick. And I got these plants about 3 months ago, and I noticed there was something incorrect. When I got the plants, I did bleach dip them, and I did take precaution also with the Burstnose Plecos. I got them at the same time, and I quarantined them, but they look great. So within like 3 days, I think I put them in here because they look great, and I did, I bleach dipped the plants. I really did. But something was just incorrect. She was acting weird, and then he was acting weird. They were like hitting the ground. I'm like, okay, then well, let me go ahead and treat them with a all natural remedy. And this always worked for me really, really well. I do this for a few days, and then I do this also for a few days just in case there's any bacteria infection or anything like that, and everything always works out really well. And you do that for about a 6-day period, and it always worked. But things did not get any better. Within like a month later, they were still in a 30-gallon tank, and I got these plants and the fish. And like a month later, she just was degrading. And then 2 months later, I got a 40-gallon breeder tank because it was getting hot also, so he wouldn't leave her alone. He was always trying to breed with her. So I was like, let me get a bigger tank so they have more of a footprint so they can swim more back and forth and much more lengths back and forth and all this good stuff. And she developed these spots on her fin, and I was like, it's ick. I'm like, dang it, so I put salt in there, but the spots wouldn't go away. And if I'm correct, the life cycle of ick, it grows spots and then they fall off and it makes more ick, and they reattach and get big and fall off and do the whole cycle again unless you have something in there to kill it, right? They just wouldn't fall off. So within about 3 months later, she's looking worse and worse, and like, she looks better now. Honestly, I think she does look a lot better, but she just looked worse. So I put a lot of salt in there, and then a lot of plants started dying because I put a lot of salt in there. I was like, dang it. And then I went ahead and treated with this now instead, and I did that for 10 days, and I don't know, things weren't getting any better. She was looking really rough, and those 3 spots were still there, and her fin just wasn't looking good at all. So I came to the conclusion to do an operation to cut her fin off. Those spots were about halfway down, so it's not all the way to her nub, so it will grow back as long as it doesn't, as long as you don't cut it on the nub or It's like, think of it like fin rot. If you ever had a bad case of fin rot and it eats away at the fin, and as long as it doesn't get to the nub, it does grow back. You know what I'm saying? But if it does grow, you know, fin rot does make it all the way to the nub, then it's permanent. So if she has a really healthy fin, you know, it's not actually, you know, as you can see, she still has a fin, but those spots are gone. She's looking better. And those spots on her head, they were really like whitish, you know, so as you can see, they're not as white anymore. And I think they're starting to heal. And I took a lot of the salt out because I have a heater in here upping up the temperature, and I have the medication. So this is actually my second go around with this, and that's okay because on the directions it says you can do, you know, a second round. And it's supposed to make her immune system stronger, and it fights parasites and bacteria and stuff like that. And I think also because there was so much salt in there and the plants were dying, I guess. Some of them. Others were doing fine, some of them weren't doing great. You know, she might have got a bacterial infection, that's why she maybe has this lip. But yeah, that way she might have this lip thing going on. So I decided to remove the salt so the plants stop dying, and to up the temperature so the egg life cycle goes faster, and to go ahead and continue this. As you saw the other quarantine tank, if things don't get better, and I think things are getting better, within a week when I get paid, I'm going to get some antibiotics for her and do a different hard treatment for parasites, and, you know, instead of a natural remedy. You know, so I would have to remove her because a hard parasite remover will kill a lot of the snails and plants and stuff like that. So if she doesn't get better, she's going to go in that quarantine tank, which might be a really good thing because it gives her a break from him. You know, he's always trying to mate. But when temperatures are normal, around, you know, 77, 78 degrees, they always are together. You know, he sometimes tries to mate, but they never leave each other's side. So now it concerns me because I did the operation and I'm like, cool, you know, she's looking better. But now when I take a really good look, I'm like, it looks like she has a new spot on her other fin, and she didn't have that before, and now he has the spot on her fin. And like I said, it's been like 2-3 months since I got these plants and new fish. So whatever it is, it's a really strong parasite, maybe super ick. But you know, ick usually, you know, attacks, and there's more spots, and then eventually there's a whole lot of spots, and it's just not acting like that. So I'm like, I have no idea. But hopefully this takes care of a really wide range of things, and really what it does, it makes their immune system really strong. But what bothers me is, you know, he was doing great, and now he has a spot. Just one. If you look really close, I think it's that fin. Yeah, there it is. You see it. He has one spot, but he's beautiful besides the one spot, and he just got it. I mean, like maybe 2 days ago. I'm like, dang it. And she might have a spot too on her fin, on her other one now, and I can't really tell, but I'm thinking like, yeah, there's probably a spot, you know, very faint, and it might develop more over time. Come here, girl. See, can we tell? It might, you know. Yeah, there we go. You see? A little tiny spot right there. So I'm like, dang it, does she have another spot? I'm like, you know, whatever it is, it's like, I don't know. But hopefully this works. And besides that, the tank is doing well. About 83 degrees, so, you know, it's breeding temperature, so he's really out and about. So she does like to hide in here a lot, but she is out and about right now, swimming around for us, and salt level is down, so it gives a chance for the plants to recuperate. And yeah, she's healing nicely. You know, I think that might have been one cause, the plants dying, and, you know, maybe a little bit too much, you know, plant death. But, you know, according to the test, everything was going well. There are 2 aqua clear 70s on here, fully stopped. There's media, you know, so it breaks down everything pretty quick. And there's only 2 fish, and the other bristlenose plecos are really small still, so there's 2 of those, so there's only 4 fish in there. So Yeah, and I control what they eat. You know, I'll put, you know, just enough in there for them, and the Bristlenose plecos only eat what they find. Well, YouTube, wish me the best of luck with her. Hopefully she gets better within the week, and I don't actually have to remove her, and maybe, you know, they do lay some eggs with these temperatures being a little bit higher, and she's feeling better and lay some eggs, and, you know, they're having a good time, and everything gets better, and the spot goes away, because hopefully it's nothing. You know, I don't know what it is. I try to Google it, like what parasite makes it one spot, you know, or 2 or 3 spots, but not more, you know. So maybe the fish are really strong, and the ick is just not like having a good chance. But the ones that do are like super ick, you know. The ones that do connect are super ick, and those don't go away. Maybe, I have no idea. You know, I'm just mumbling along now. But alright, YouTube, I wish you an awesome night, and y'all be good. Laters.